Good morning, everyday math. Getting ahead of myself. So here's our joke for today. What do you call a man with no arms and no legs playing in the leaves? Russell. That's his name, Russell. All right, so go to page 222 inside your math journals, please. And we're going to be talking about order of operations. So as we've talked about before, this should be a quick review, but this is our order of operations. PEMDAS, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Okay, and we read it just to, like we go from left to right. That's the order that we have to solve a problem that we're given. So we first start with our parentheses. So things that are inside of parentheses are the very first thing. The next thing would be an exponent. So an exponent is the second most important. So after you've resolved your parenthesis problem, then you go to your exponent. Then we have multiplication, division, addition, and then subtraction. So that's the order. We have to do these first. You got to start with the parentheses first, or your problem will be incorrect. All right, so I'm gonna come up with a few examples as well as a few in your book. So if you're at page 222, here is a freebie. For number 1, it is 4 times 6 plus 3. All right, so we'll start out pretty simple. So what's the first thing? Well, we got to look at what kind of operations we have. So we have multiplication and we have addition. So looking at my chart here, multiplication comes before additions. So I have to resolve that problem first. So 6 times 4 is 24 plus 3, and eventually we get 27. So this is the way that I like problems to be solved, working down, doing the steps, making sure you're taking the correct process. But if you have your own method, that's okay. But I like this method. It's very clean. It makes sense. But like I said, you can do your own. So let's move on to the next one. Let's do... All right, this is one I just made up. All right, so we have 4 plus 2 minus 5 squared. So remember, we're keeping in mind PEMDAS. So the first thing I have to look for is parentheses. So we have something inside the parentheses, so we got to do that first. So now we have 6 minus 5 squared. Now we do have an exponent, so that is next. So we have 6 minus 25. And when you take away positive 6 from negative 25, we remain with negative 19. Okay, let's move on. Let's do kind of a tricky one. Okay, this is probably one of the most challenging problems that you'll see, but if we recognize the steps, we can accomplish it. So what is the first one we gotta look for? Parentheses. So we're gonna deal first with just what's in our parentheses. So we read it left to right, so we're gonna start with 4 times 2, so that gets us 8, but we still need to keep those parentheses there. Plus, and we have our parentheses here, so we have to resolve this problem. 6. Okay, next one would be the exponent. The exponent is 8 squared, which is 8 times 8, so we have 64 plus 6, which equals 70. Okay, so really the main thing is thinking about PEMDAS. Make sure you're following the order of operations, that you're looking out for these parentheses equations, because those can be the most tricky in figuring out what goes first. Okay, so you've got your assignment up on the board. And if you have any questions, please let me know. Raise your hand. Remember, don't wave me down or yell. Remember, quiet working time. Take your time. Do your best. And as always, I will see you in real life.